Hello people of YouTube, it's Deepak here, and welcome to DCS World 2.8.1 and Eagle Dynamics FA-18C Hornet module. Welcome to tutorial 20, SLAM Missile. Today we're going to take a look at the AGM-84 Standoff Land Attack Missile, otherwise known as SLAM. This is an air-launched cruise missile with GPS guidance, optical guidance, and a data link connection. Optionally, a data link connection, I might add. It's basically a harpoon missile. The missile body and everything else is a harpoon. The radar sensor in the nose has been swapped out for the optical sensor from a walleye, and a data link connection has been installed so that you can optionally have man-in-the-loop terminal guidance, and also information about the missile's flight. If you're going to use the data link option, you need to carry the AWW13 data link pod, as seen on the center line here. Also, this demonstrates the maximum possible loadout of SLAM missiles on the FA-18C. They can be carried singly on pylons 2, 3, 7 and 8 for a total of 4 missiles. Today I'm also carrying on the fuselage stations an A-18C and the AT Fleur targeting pod. The SLAM can be used in two main modes, pre-planned and target of opportunity, much like the JSO and the JDAM. Pre-planned can only be used for land attack, however target of opportunity can be used in a kind of multi-purpose fashion, including the ability to actually attack maritime targets, so you can use it instead of a harpoon if you would like. But of course the targeting is different. You're going to have to use the man-in-the-loop functionality to make those hits. However, you then have the option of choosing the impact point on the enemy ship, whereas of course the harpoon is entirely autonomous in this role. So, jumping into the cockpit, let's get ourselves set up to employ the missile. I already have Master Arm on. We're going to go air-to-ground master mode, and you'll see that the weapon profile is just called SLAM. Let's box SLAM just now, and you'll see that we get a timer. The timer starts at 10 minutes. This is simply the missile aligning and powering on. We will need to wait until it counts down to 7 minutes and 30 seconds, so that's 2.5 minutes worth of alignment time, and you'll see the quality of the alignment displayed here in the center of the SMS page as it goes. Eventually that will work its way all the way down to 1 for good. Going over the rest of the controls that we have here, unlike some other guided weapons, the SLAM only has a single program, so you can't flip through 4 preset programs like you can with some missiles. We only have the current program here. You have the main mode, which can be pre-planned or target of opportunity. We can flip that here. Pre-planned mode just works with sets of coordinates, which you can type into the aircraft. The fly-out altitude is controlled with FLT, exactly the same way as with the HARM. You've got options for high, medium and low. These correspond to 35,000 feet in the case of high, 15,000 feet in the case of medium, and 5,000 feet in the case of low. And exactly as with the harpoon, the SLAM does not have any terrain avoidance, so make sure that whatever altitude you select is high enough that it's not going to strike terrain. You then have the E-fuse. It only has 2 settings. It defaults to off initially, which means the missile will not detonate. Or if you click E-fuse, you can set it to instantaneous, and that means the missile will detonate. You've got the option here to erase the programming on all of your missiles. If you click this, you can then cancel or accept. That will blank all 4 missiles, quite useful in the event that you think you've typed in some incorrect information and you just want to start from a blank profile. WEP is actually used in combination with the data link to select which weapon you're pairing to the data link. STP is for a steer point. You can optionally have the missile fly out to your currently defined waypoint or mark point and then attack the target, so in that way you can control its flight path. SLAM display will bring up the further controls of the missile, and step, as always, will allow us to step through the installed missiles. I'm leaving it on the one on pylon 8 just now. So let's go ahead and jump into the SLAM display. Let's go back. Let's go back to the stores management page. Actually, I've just demonstrated one of the things you have to be aware of. If you deselect the profile and reselect it at any time, it will need to go through its full alignment again. So in this instance, let's accelerate time, because we don't want to wait around for that. and I'll show you what the stores management page looks like when the missile is fully aligned and ready to use. This just needs to count down to 7 minutes and 30 seconds, which it will be at any moment now. There we go. Missile is now boxed and shows ready. The other missiles show standby, and the currently boxed missile shows ready. So let's jump into display SLAM, and again we've got the option to switch between target of opportunity and pre-planned. MSN is for the mission page, where we can define the target parameters. Release type allows us to select the type of release we want. We have manual, auto loft, and FD. At the current time, only manual is actually implemented. Arrays will erase this particular missile. Declutter HSI is not implemented, but it should declutter the HSI of some of our symbology. Step to step through missiles, and UFC allows us to change the distance at which the seeker should turn on. That defaults to 10 nautical miles. You don't want it to happen too early, because if you accidentally put in any commands, any man-in-the-loop commands too early, you'll mess up the missile's flight path a little bit. So we're going to leave that on the default for just now. Let's now click on the mission page, and we now have the ability to define the pre-planned points. We have 6 pre-planned points selected across the top and on the side here, numbered 1 to 6. Ones which are not valid or not entered are crossed out. So let's press target UFC here, and we will define pre-planned point number 1. And we have the option to define the terminal parameters, the position, and the elevation. Let's define position, lat. We're going to choose northing, and in this case it's 351639. Enter. And then we can enter the decimal degrees. I'm just going to enter 00 here and press enter, and you'll see that the target northing is now confirmed here. We're now going to select longitude, east. You don't need the initial 0 on this system, and it's 331604. Enter, and again 00 in this case. Enter. If you wanted very accurate target coordinates, you could of course enter the decimal degrees. I'm just not bothering for this demonstration. I'm then going to unbox UFC, target UFC, and rebox it, and we can then put in the elevation. You can see it's not considered a valid position until we have elevation. So I choose elevation. I'm going to give it in feet, and in this case it's 771. Enter. And you'll now see that PP1 is no longer crossed out, and we have full target information here. I'm going to remove the target UFC box. Now, you'll also note that we have the option for launch point and offset point here. These are not currently implemented, so we're going to ignore them. Now that we've entered the pre-planned point, if we look down at the HSI, we'll see that we now have symbology for our launch. Dotted line is the path the missile is going to take. The outer ring is the maximum launch range. The inner ring is the minimum launch range. Triangle is the target position, and this line is the terminal heading that the missile will take. It's defaulted to due north. You can see here, heading 0, angle 0, velocity 0. If we can set undefined heading here by pressing this button. It'll go to undefined, and you'll note that that line disappears on the HSI. That now means that the missile will directly attack that point. So now that we're happy with this, we've got Station 8, pre-planned 1, it's a SLAM, there's our target coordinates. We can press return, and that will take us back to the stores management system. Again, we want to verify the altitude, the fuse, and the distance. These are all correct. We're fully aligned, missile reports ready. So I'm going to demonstrate a pre-planned launch with the data link and man-in-the-loop. So in order to do that, I need to also box the data link. Its profile is just DL13 here. And with the data link boxed, I can then press WEP, and I can then pair the data link to a particular missile. Now, these buttons are numbered, top to bottom, they actually correspond to the pylons left to right. So this top button is pylon 2, pylon 3, pylon 7, and pylon 8 is the last one. We're using pylon 8, so I'm going to choose the last one. You'll then see that the data link profile confirms it's paired with a SLAM. So data link is in profile SLAM, and we then have the indication here, in range, 59 seconds time to sensor. That's the point at which we will get the video feed and be able to control the missile. Before launch, we should click SLAM again, and it will then give us the video feed for the missile. We want to confirm that we have channel 8. Each of the data link channels corresponds to the pylon, so channel 8 for pylon 8. That is correct, that's what I want to see. I also want to see SLAM ready, and the data link in SLAM mode, and the time to sensor. I'm now going to press sensor select switch to the left. I now have a diamond in this display, and that means that I'm now ready to control this display. Other controls that we have here are for the antenna. The data link pod will default to using the frontal antenna to communicate with the missile. If you turn off target, which is probably best practice, you then want to switch it to the aft antenna in order to get the best picture quality. I'm going to leave it on the front antenna just now. Also, you've got the weapon button here as well. I could click weapon and change which weapon I'm paired with. I'm going to leave it on station 8 because that's the one I intend to use. Looking up on the HUD here, we've got distance to the target. The missile's maximum range is just over 60 nautical miles. We're making a very short range shot here. Weapon selected is SLAM. It's in pre-planned mode, and we are in range. Let's come out of active pause, and let's pickle. Okay, that's rifle long, and the missile is away. Just going to confirm that it's flying correctly. It should be turning left, which it is. It's making a slow turn to the left. Where's my aircraft? There I am. And it's climbing up to its medium altitude. That's perfect. That's what we want to see. So, that's nice. We can now just focus down on our data link display. We can see 53 seconds time to sensor. Let's accelerate time and wait until we get an image from that. 20 seconds. 10 seconds to go. And let's go back to real time. Boom, we have an image. We have the ability to press the field of view button to field of view in and field of view out. Visually, I can see that does actually appear to be the target that I want, so I'm not going to maneuver the missile at this time. You do want to minimize... Oh, now why did it do that? That's interesting. It was already pointing at the target I wanted, so let's actually TDC to the left and get it over that target again. You don't want to make too many maneuvers with the missile. It's best to make as few corrections as possible. Oh, okay. Why did it do that again? Let's try once more. Just going to move it right over there and wait. The missile should start moving towards that target. We're starting to get a bad picture because I think we need the aft antenna. Let's switch. There we go. You can see the picture quality improved there. The cross also, by the way, is showing us how far off of the bore sight we're looking just now with the camera. It looks like the target... Yeah, it looks like the missile has not actually turned. Yep, it did not strike the target, so something went a little bit wrong there. That's unfortunate, but you get the idea. That's basically how it should work. That's with a pre-planned target. We can repeat the procedure now for a target of opportunity. That works in much the same way, except it uses your currently defined target point. Now, of course, that target point could come from your currently designated waypoint. It could come from a radar point, or it could come from a targeting point. Targeting pod point. So let's come back to the stores management page here. We now have the missile on pylon 2 selected. Let's switch it to target of opportunity. Let's leave the flight the way it was, E-fuse the way it was. We're going to press WEP, and we're going to choose pylon 2 for the data link now. And then we're going to go to the display here. You don't really need to change any of these settings when you're in target of opportunity mode, but if we go to mission, we can actually confirm that we have the target coordinates here when we define a kind of target point. So I actually have a target at waypoint 4. I'm going to press waypoint designate here. Sorry, at waypoint 3, going to press waypoint designate. We get all of the correct symbology here, as expected. We have a set of coordinates that appear here on the mission page. We can press return, and we can see in range and the time to sensor. In range is flashing. That's because our alignment is not brilliant. So let's come around and actually align ourselves a bit better with that target. And you'll see that in range is now no longer flashing. So you can be in range, but it can be like a non-ideal alignment that you have there. So, there we go. Lined up. I'm going to press and hold pickle. That's another rifle long. I'm going to put it back into autopilot here. And if we F6, we'll see the missile is dropped away. and it will start flying towards the target. I'm going to go ahead and press the SLAM profile again to get the video feed. You can see that it's already our sensor of interest, and we can confirm channel number 2. I'm actually going to put it on the forward antenna because the missile should be in front of us eventually. And let's accelerate time once more. Woof! You just saw the missile whiz past us there. "30 seconds to go. 10 seconds. Let's just confirm. Yep, missile's going the right way. That's good. Okay, we should now have the sensor. We do. That's great. I'm going to hit the field of view again and just have a little look. Actually, I didn't notice before, but there is in fact a field of view push button as well here if you want to use that. So we're 10 miles out, missiles coming in. This is actually a group of vehicles that we're going to attack this time. Okay, it's coming down on the target area. Let's refine this a little bit. I think my target is somewhere around about here. Let's check the FOV. That was me just stalling the aircraft because I wasn't paying attention. That looks about right. That appears to be one of the vehicles, so I'm just going to leave my camera on top of that. If we hit F6, you should see missiles coming down. This time it looks like it's pretty much on target. I think if you make larger adjustments, it will miss. That was a direct hit with a cruise missile against an armoured personnel carrier. Okay, very, very unpleasant. So yeah, apart from stalling the aircraft there, that was a much better launch. That was a man-in-the-loop attack, target of opportunity mode, and that was us using a waypoint designation. But the process would be exactly the same if you were using the air-to-ground radar or the C mode of the radar against a ship, or if you used the targeting pod. Let's jump back into the SLAM display here, and we've now got the missile on pylon 7. Let's go back to the SLAM display, and let's go to the mission page, and let's take a little look at the target UFC, and I'll show you the terminal options. So you can set a heading, angle and velocity. Let's say that we wanted to approach the target from 180, that then appears here. These are true headings, by the way. And we wanted an angle of 50 degrees. That's then confirmed here. I'm not going to bother entering the velocity, we'll leave that on the default. And let's deselect our selected target. Let's scale this out. And let's make sure our pre-plan point is actually no longer entered. So if we exit this, go into position, I'm going to very quickly enter the original target again, just so I can demonstrate what the symbology looks like with terminal options. Okay, that's that in. Longitude 331604. Enter. 00. Enter. And then let's get that elevation in feet. 771. Boom. Okay, pre-planned point 1 is now correct. And as I demonstrated before, we have this little line here. This is demonstrating the angle that the missile is going to come in at. So if we launched it now, it would kind of do this crazy arc all the way around, and then attack the target from the area that I've told it to. And you can see we're in range, but it's flashing at us because it's unhappy about our orientation. We would ideally want to turn the aircraft left before making that shot. Let's return, and then I'm just going to demonstrate one last thing. I'm going to press SLAM arrays, accept, and after a short delay, the missiles should completely blank themselves. Yep, it showed arrays for just a moment, and now it's again ready and standby, but no targeting information. So if I wanted to make sure that I was doing it all again from scratch, I could do exactly that. A final thing to demonstrate is if I wanted to do a launch without the data link, even though I have the data link on board, I can simply unbox the data link, and then the missile will directly attack the target position or the pre-planned set of coordinates I've given it with no man-in-the-loop control. It will literally just strike that point that I've given it. So, that is all the functionality currently implemented for the SLAM missile, the AGM-84E. I hope that you all enjoyed that. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and comment. Also, note that you can be a member of Deephack's ground crew if you'd like to further support the channel. I really appreciate those of you who do. And a big shout out to the current members of Deephack's ground crew in the form of Frantic Stone, Channel Right, Storm Kimbari, Byron Farrow, Leo Netzel, Harish Rajan, Mangash, Pink Floyd, J.R. Walker, Chandro Hedgevald, and Griff Nizzle. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.